Welcome to the Library of Virginia. I'm Mary Julian, and I'm in the gallery where our exhibition, Your Humble Petitioner, is on display until November 2022. Legislative petitions are one of our most fascinating collections because they give us a chance to hear Virginians in their own voices. The library holds about 25,000 legislative petitions submitted to the General Assembly between the Revolutionary War and the Civil War. Any Virginian, regardless of gender, race, or class, had the right to petition, and they did so for a wide variety of reasons. Do you want to put a stop to pigs running wild through the streets of your town? Submit a petition for legislation to stop it. Do you want to have a ferry nearby so you don't have to travel long distances to get to the nearest town that happens to be across the river? Get your neighbors together to submit a petition. Many petitions were also for personal reasons. Did you want to get a divorce? You needed to submit a petition for an act of legislation to obtain one. These petitions to the General Assembly give us a window into what was important to Virginians and their communities. Mary Webley submitted a petition to the new House of Delegates during its first meeting after declaring independence from Great Britain in 1776. She and her disabled husband and their 3 children lived in Norfolk. After the Virginia militia defeated the royal governor and his troops at Great Bridge in December 1775, the British abandoned the nearby city of Norfolk and withdrew to their fleet in the harbor. On New Year's Day, the British ships turned their cannons on Norfolk and set fire to the city. American patriots who were intent on rooting out loyalists also burned other homes and buildings, and the city was left in ruins. The unfortunate Mary Webley, as she described herself in the third-person language used in petitions, and her family were unable to flee Norfolk for safety. In her very short request for help from the General Assembly, her petition is only about 150 words, Mary Webley explained that while suckling her child, her leg was broken by a cannonball from the Liverpool man of war. Their home and all their effects were totally destroyed in the flames of Norfolk, from whence they have been drove in most distressful circumstances. She informed the legislators that her husband could not find employment since he had lost his arm in an accident years before, and she had no ways or means to procure shelter or acquire subsistence for herself and miserable little children. 250 years ago, there were no government agencies or social service organizations to help people displaced in war. One of her only options for assistance was to ask the legislators for such aid and relief as in their justice and mercy shall seem right. Mary Webley was successful. The Assembly agreed to help her and provided £10 as a one-time compensation. And it's difficult to convert currency from that long ago, but that amount might be about $2,000 today. We don't know what Mary Webley did with the money, whether she and her miserable little children were able to find a new home in Norfolk or took refuge somewhere else, or whether she one day told her grandchildren about living through the British bombardment of her home during America's War for Independence. But her story is preserved in her petition that's part of the legislative petition collection at the Library of Virginia. Without it, we would not know anything about Mary Webley's story or even her existence. The collection is digitized, and you can search for Mary Webley's story and thousands of others online at the library's website. And you can come see the petition for yourself in the gallery at the Library of Virginia through November 19th, 2022. Thanks.